Dodge, Yahoo, Phantom of the Forest, you Spear, Finger, Fire Dragon, Ohio Grassman, Silver Giant, Bloodless Howler, West Virginia Vampire, Coyote King, Hogzilla, Devil, Dark Coyote Killer. Cave creature, Mothman, Smoke Wolf, Lizard Demon, Ashman, Grafton Monster, Cow-killing Bastard, Shadow Creature, Dustman, Cherokee, Death Cat, Wild Man, Great Fire Rape. What else do I have to say? Steal yourself some chicken wire, and I'll get some lumber. Catch the Thunder Brothers. Don't you dare get out of the golf cart. We can keep our big seats while we hunt the big feet. Snarly Gastro Team, Red Island Bear Beast, Silver Giant, Squalling Savage, Black Wolf was kind of average, Stone Giant, Raven Mocker, Midnight Whistler, Wampus Beast, Wawa Woman, Ohio Grassman again. Technically Huckleberry Wolfman or Wolf County need to find the X again if we hunt the Lightning Man. Webster's Werewolf, Daily Howl, Kentucky Hellhound, Little Girl, Headless Horror, I can't take it anymore. Steal yourself some chicken wire, and I'll get some lumber. Catch the Thunder Brothers. Don't you dare get out of the golf cart. We can keep our big seats while we hunt the big feet.
Need that throat lube because
Gotta get that throat lube. I have it handy already because I suck big dicks. Keep that in, Jamie.
That's going in. We're going in on that. This is Bigfeets, the only Mountain Monsters Watch Along podcast. You can't cut it now because we have to come.
God damn it.
I'm Robert Brockway, and I don't bring this up for any reason. I don't even know why I'm thinking about it. But if you showed up at my remote cabin with shotguns and a camera crew, I think I'd probably set a series of crude traps for you so that the hunter becomes the hunted. That's just me.
That's a really good point. I'm Sean Baby from the internet. Chemical weapons don't bother me that much. I can understand them. But biological weapons scare the shit out of me. Besides, damn it, we spend $70 million a year developing stuff we can't or won't use, and we can't get enough funding for our own projects right here in the agency. Seems to me that if we're not going to use something, we should quit pissing our money away to the wind. I agree wholeheartedly, especially when I was getting paid as little as I was for doing Casey's laundry, dealing with the KGB, and tracking down an invisible biological secret weapon. Screw research. My ass was the one on the line.
And I am award-winning author Jason Pargin.
Do you think karate works on biological weapons?
Well, Frank Dukes is still with us, so obviously.
I thought that in the film Bloodsport that he was just like a karate man in a karate contest. And then every time you read this book, he's like thwarting weapons of mass destruction programs. I guess I don't understand what Frank Dukes is claiming his life was.
That was his cover story. His cover story is Bloodsport.
Yeah.
That's the normal life he leads so that people don't suspect he's actually a covert super spy saving the world.
And he wrote the book about being a covert super spy to throw people off the trail of a secret we don't even know and can't know.
My day job,
are covered in
Kumite.
socks.
By day he's a karate fighter. By night,
Are
a
you
different
implying,
kind of karate
Jason, are you
fighter.
implying Frank Dukes was not being honest with some of his backstory?
No, I'm saying I don't understand why that film held so much back.
Yeah, that's true.
But maybe this was being saved for, I don't know how many sequels, just
We're
one
getting a
sequel.
reboot.
I think they made a couple sequels, but
We're getting an A24 reboot of Bloodsport. Like, this is going in. It's all going in.
hopefully.
Starring Timothy Chalamet as
The
Frank
real
Dukes.
the real story.
I think he'd be great.
Yeah. He would be great as a liar who lies about knowing karate. Because it would be really satisfying to hear him like lie about knowing karate and then just get the shit beaten out of him. He just looks like a really good guy for that.
Yep.
All right, let's do some plugs before we jump into it.
Great
Jason,
idea.
how about you?
The new book is up for pre-order. The title of it is There Are No Giant Crabs in This Novel. Novel of Giant Crabs. It is book 5 in the John Dies at the End series. In theory, you could read them in any order, but I wouldn't recommend it. If you want a signed hardcover, you can only get those from one place and only via pre-order. The link for that is bit.ly/signmycrab.
Great URL.
Beat that URL, Sean.
Patreon.com/1900hotdog. That's our Patreon. That's how you support this podcast and our website, which is great. And we have world-class comedy writers doing articles every day, just like the golden age of the internet. They're funny and enduring and wonderful.
You guys are such children. You have such silly things to promote. It says here, my book's called I Will Kill Your Imaginary Friend for $200. Oh, we're all dipshits. We're all every one of us. I thought I was going to be immune.
And we're not even kids anymore. We're not. It's not like we're out here 23 years old with this ironic title stuff.
That's true.
I'm 51.
Yeah. That's close to mine. Yeah, I'm about that.
They told me I'd be past this by now. Why hasn't that happened? Go buy my book. It's good. Or don't. Honestly, I don't give a shit anymore. Plenty of other people are buying my book. I don't need you.
If anything,
fact,
too
fuck
many.
you.
Reverse plug. The anti-plug. Now who's ironic and detached?
Oh, it's always been me, baby. It's always been me. We are a Mountain Monsters watch-along podcast. We're watching an episode called Day of Wrath.
Jesus Christ, the show.
The penultimate episode of this season. So here we go. We have complained that nothing has happened for the last 5 episodes, but here we are. Day of Wrath. It is here. I cannot wait to find out what is involved when these guys experience something called a Day of Wrath. I'm on the edge of my seat as we watch this in real time.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's such a shot. It's such a shot called, right? Like, this is Avengers Endgame. You're like fucking coming down to the line.
Day of Wrath. This will mean something. Something will be wrathful.
These guys literally had an episode 2 episodes ago that was called, What's a Smoke Wolf? Like, they don't overpromise with their titles. Day of Wrath, here we go. That is an album cover.
Yeah, it's gonna fucking kick ass. We do technically have to do the previously on, so this is a serialized storyline. I want to do it less every episode that goes by. So the Ames team set out to find normal wolves, yada yada yada. There are shrieking demon wolves. They're being held at bay by multi-generational hillbilly wizards who contribute one thing per generation to the family skull wall, like a grandma does a quilt. The demon wolves killed a bunch of coyotes. Now the Ames team is going to move in with the wolves, I guess, because rent is crazy. I think that's it.
There was not just a recap in this episode, but they went a full 5 minutes back in time. So we got to watch the last episode again. The only thing that happened in the last episode, we just watched again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but don't take that to mean they didn't film enough stuff for this episode.
No.
They wanted to catch you up.
It's called Day of Wrath. Like they needed to cut some of the wrath to get this in, just so it would be grounded enough that you would understand the wrath.
Now we are on the penultimate episode of this is episode 7 of an 8-episode story arc about the smoke wolves. Really quick question: do either of you know what a smoke wolf is?
Hot wolf?
Shoulder horns?
For example, why is it called a smoke wolf? What's the smoke element?
That was not made clear.
Made some unwise decisions as a teenager?
Yeah.
No, I don't. You think we would have learned that in the episode titled "What's a Smoke Wolf"? That was the educational film strip.
If that came up, it wasn't in my notes, and it didn't come up in the last episode either. And in the intro of this, the reason I bring it up is in the little sizzle reel. Buck says the smoke wolves are giant, 4-foot-tall canines. And then he stops talking. It's like, no, 4-foot-tall canines. I think I've seen a 4-foot-tall canine in my life. It's like, okay, and then they are, because even the stuff about how they can go non-corporeal and you can drive your car through them, they've kind of just I'm not saying they've forgotten that they said that, but they are hoping we have forgotten they said that.
Jason, you fool. That was an unrelated ghost dog.
Yes, that was a Grim.
Is that how you understand that this is a place that is haunted by two different types of supernatural
Yes,
dogs that are
that's what I'm
unrelated
taking
to
away
and
from.
they don't interact? One of them only eats bones, and the
Right.
other one
Only-
eats anything.
I think the
Eats
bone
anything.
drinker is the third thing that also is unrelated, and we are not concerned
And
with.
spoiler alert, it's pretty clear by the end of this episode, you can forget about this giant canine too. Like we're done with all of it.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
All right.
Throw 'em
So
all in the
last
trash.
last episode ended with the coyote massacre, where they heard a bunch of coyotes and shrieking demon wolves. They came across a ridge or whatever, and they found a bunch of coyote corpses. That was not enough information for them. They couldn't put together what might have happened, so we have to spend 5 minutes of them going, What could have done this? It's the smoke wolves.
Yeah, I think it's the smoke
You're in
wolf.
their house. This is their house where they live now.
Okay,
Like,
so after I think 10 minutes, Buck comes in and he says to the camera, something big attacked a whole pile of them, which is the only unit of measurement Buck acknowledges or maybe knows. And he says, I think I know what it is. A smoke wolf. He's fucking solved the mystery. Just all it took was a coyote massacre they caused by summoning the smoke wolf. And then when they found a massacred pack of 4 massacred packs of coyotes, they're like, oh God, what could have done this? I'm racking my brain. Hold on. I know. I just was thinking of something earlier.
It's really okay. Remember this penultimate episode. It's a really funny idea, and give this to them. Give them credit here. It's a very funny idea to take like, I don't know, the story of take like Bram Stoker's Dracula or whatever. Like they've done all this. They're in the castle at the end right before Dracula like dies, and then they find like a corpse nearby, and somebody goes, I think Dracula might have done this. Like,
or no, it's
5
like
minutes to the end.
the opening of Blade, and like the ravers are like eating a dude, and there's just blood coming out of the sprinklers, and then Blade comes in, and he's like, dude, why are you guys dancing in all this blood? Hold on a second.
It's a very funny thing. You're in their house. You're literally in their house. You moved in with them. So Huckleberry does a line read for the sizzle reel, which is, with all my years in these mountains, I ain't never seen anything like this. And that's enough. They've done their one thing. Time to get the fuck out of here.
Yep.
Although
Bye.
I do wish, the one thing I wish they had done was if they had gotten on the phone and called Travis, the witness from the last episode, or what was the name of the guy who owned No Man's Land, who built the skull wall? What was that guy's name?
Rob Zombie.
Yeah, that's Rob Zombie.
I wish they could have had a scene where they called him and said, hey, we found 25 dead coyotes here. We think that may be a smoke wolf, and just hear that guy's faint voice come in. It's like, yeah. Who are you people? I explained all of this at length 3 episodes ago. What have you been doing out there?
We cooked some
Imagine-
ribs, and a mile away, it massacred coyotes. Is that normal? What?
Imagine like the chill that must have gone down that guy's spine as he's on the phone and he realizes, my God, I sent 5 Memento guys out there. I didn't know it at the time. They seem so normal. Like, this is my responsibility. There are 5 like escaped patients from a psychiatric facility who are incapable of remembering where they are, and I sent them into the den of the super wolves.
All these guys swap brains with babies, and I sent them in to fight smoke wolves.
That's on me. I have to live with that now.
And they're going to keep talking about these wolves again. The thing they do where they talk about animals killing other animals as if it's a crime, as if these coyotes been murdered. And at no point are they going to say, "Now hold on, we did this. We drew them in with bait to be killed because we specifically were trying to get the attention of the smoke wolf, and we did that by drawing in 4 packs of coyotes." And we just fed these innocent coyotes because they're saying stuff about these coyotes like, these poor bastards never had a chance. It's like, yeah, because of you.
Yeah. You trapped
Also-
them. The only trap that's ever worked.
Notorious friend to the rural farming community, coyotes.
Yeah.
Always mourned appropriately at their loss.
The noble coyote.
So Huckleberry gives us another for the sizzle reel. He says, "These smoke wolves, these some bad sons of bitches." And then Jeff chimes in with, "Yeah, whoever did this must be one hell of a bad son of a bitch."
But also, when you look at the sheer carnage that was done by, I think they're implying one smoke wolf did this. It makes you question the wisdom of Willie and Buck crawling into a log from opposite ends with a smoke wolf in between them. That could have gone very wrong in retrospect. Now, they couldn't have known that at the time.
Of course. Yeah, at the time, the plan was to
It made perfect sense at the
bite
time.
the thing to death.
Even if it had just been a normal dog, I don't think that's a good idea.
Guys, we're going to do a maneuver we call the Chinese finger trap. where we both are trapped by the animal tearing our faces
Our
off.
faces are the fingers. It's crazy enough to work.
So somehow, this is maybe the craziest thing they've done in the whole series. Somehow they remember and they say, "Well, we got to go back and put that fire out." Like I would have laid money.
This pissed me off.
This
so
is how
bad.
I knew they were setting up something else, because they come up with text on screens like, "Hey guys, before we leave, we should go put that fire out." It's like, well, this is fake.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's not what this is going to be about. They don't do that.
This is a dumb lie that does not serve. Okay, so here's the thing: is Buck is like, "I was looking at this rock earlier, and then I forgot because like Bill fell down because Bill did fall down because he was trying to like walk up a hill and also like float towards the pork ribs at the bottom like a cartoon floating towards a pie on the sill. He was trying to do both those things at once, fell down, but that distracted Buck from the rock, and he was onto something with that rock. And then he forgot. And this is the kind of thing we don't need. Like, if you want to go look at a rock, go fucking look at a rock. The fact that they're giving us 10 different reasons for him to go back and look at a rock is like, okay, well, this is a lie now. Written by someone who thinks adding needless details makes the lie more believable. And I guess this is when I realized the show's writer was gone. Because I think the show's writer would have given a real reason to go back to this rock. And these people are not capable of that.
I am 100% dead serious, Sean. At this point, I paused and went back and watched the credits of the previous episode to see if they'd lost their writer.
Yeah, it was this
Because
moment.
Be a writer involved in
It's
this.
so nonsensical that, because the whole thing is like, well, I started to notice something, but then Bill slipped and fell, and that distracted me. It's like, okay, somebody is slipping and falling all the time.
All the time.
That would not be something that would redirect your train of thought in this universe. You people are constantly falling down. It's unremarkable. You don't go and check on somebody when they fall down anymore. It's just something that happens. You just look back like, "Oh, you all right? Yeah, I'm fine."
And it's worse, too, because he's talking about how he saw something rounded and out of place on the rock. And then they show him pulling sod off of the rock, like clearly man-placed sod.
Yeah,
and
they glued some moss on there.
Yeah.
You're flying way ahead of this. Oh my God, I can't believe you're burning through this moment. This might be one of the two things that happens this episode.
So fucking pissed off at this thing. It's just idiot lie on top of idiot lie, told for no reason. These are lies being told for no reason.
I like that Buck is so video game brained, he thinks that investigating something works like in video games where you have to hover over it and then like the reticle closes in. But if you pull away too soon, then it's just, he says that I was starting to notice something, but then I got distracted. What the fuck does that? You start to notice a thing, but you haven't noticed it yet. So that you forgot about it. You're like, I was going to notice something. We should go back. So I tell you not to skip over this moment because they really milk this moment, and I wrote this down. He says he's got Willie with him for his special boy moment when he comes up to the rock and he's starting to remember that he almost noticed something. And Buck says, "I leaned my shotgun over here and, well, knowing me, it would have been right under this little ledge." Yeah, you know me.
You know he's a ledge leaner.
Yeah, he's a ledge leaner. And then he reenacts the whole shotgun collecting procedure, and then he lets the guys know, yeah, I think there might be something here. And Wild Bill says, What is it? Moss?
Yes, actually.
And Willie says, no, it's under the moss. And then Jeff has to volunteer the information. Pull the moss off of it. Let's see what's on there. To which Huckleberry says, hell yeah.
And that's
he gives
what
him
I
a
mean.
hell yeah.
These are people
For
operating from a world where they know there's writing under the moss and don't know how to lie to get there. They're too stupid to know what knowledge they're not supposed to have.
But every member of the team gets in on the moss moving procedure. Each one of them has the idea, like, hold on, I need to be involved in this. I'm the one who suggests that there might be something under the moss, and I'm the one who has the idea to access things beneath other things. You might have to move the thing.
It's like
So
they're
now
on New Game Plus. They're like, wait, where was the JRT again? I know the initials were on this rock. It was under the moss. Shit.
Because that's what they find.
Yeah.
Now that he's got the moral support he needs to pull moss off of a rock.
Yeah.
Okay, now they also go to an ad break. He pulls the moss aside, goes, no way. What is it, Buck? Ad break.
Yep.
Replay it all.
Please.
We've got to build this up. Then, all right. But we are now 10 minutes into this episode. We are 25% of the way through the runtime of this episode. That's how much time the moss thing has taken.
They have not moved moss yet.
Nope. We have 11 excuses on why they're here and moving moss.
My notes are so angry for these episodes.
I'm pissed off. I'm so pissed
Conventional television often works on a 5-act structure. We are past Act 1.
And it gets
we
worse.
have not moved moss.
It gets worse because they get the initials and they're like, oh, that's Trapper's initials. And they all have a big emotional reaction to that. But then it's like, wait, hold on. There's something underneath this other moss on the rock. And
There's
and
also there's a correction and an apology I have to issue here too, because Wild Bill in seeing the JRT, and that's John R. Tice. People don't know the R stands for
R.
Roosevelt?
Sure. I apologize. I didn't have
Buck
a funny
says it's
middle,
R. John
middle
R.
name when I
Tice.
said that. Yeah, just R. Anyway, Wild Bill says, "I'll be go to hell." Now, two episodes ago, somebody said that, and we called it out as somebody butchering a line, and I did not speak up. I'm from just outside this part of the world. I absolutely heard the phrase, "I'll be go to hell." We used to say it in high school. That is a phrase
Really?
that people say around there.
Okay.
Yeah. They are intentionally butchering the syntax, and we said it. Is there this thing where we said it ironically, like making fun of the yokels, and then we just started saying it because that's how this works. Warning everybody out there: when you start using slang ironically to make fun of it, after a few months, it just becomes part of your language. I'm telling you. All this
That's why
smogging
I'm
stuff,
look-smogging you.
you're just going to start saying it, and you're not even going to notice yourself doing it. Anyway.
So Sean was right. They're not done pulling off moss. They pull off the moss that reveals Trapper's initials, and then they briefly reflect on like how Trapper's spirit is always with them. And I wish we could switch to like spectral vision to just show like Trapper's ghost taking wild haymakers at him. Just fucking, I can't believe what you're doing to my legacy.
Where's the Bigfoot? Where is the Bigfoot?
This I set up. It's a simple format. Every episode's the same. What are you? So Buck pulls apart more moss and he finds letters that spell, I don't know, it kind of looks like a D, but it's like a dies, a ray. Is it dis-irie? Was Trapper Rasta? I don't know what this could possibly be. Like, really just milks this moment until Jeff the nerd finally speaks up and says, it's Latin, and Buck says, huh? What's that?
He doesn't. That's how fucking dumb he's playing. He hasn't heard of Latin.
Like hillbillies, like they're not. I don't believe that they're actual hillbillies. They're probably from here, but they live in a city. You know that.
Right.
They think hillbillies are so fucking stupid that they would never have heard the term Latin. Like I get that.
But they're also overplaying it because Jeff is like, I know what that is. It's Latin. It's a Latin word. It's a term from the 1200s. Like, no. Okay,
No.
Jeff, no, you don't know that.
Overshot it.
You don't get to suddenly become that guy. You could have been that guy from the first
you had
episode
your
on
chance.
if you had truly wanted to be the librarian character from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Like, you've not been playing that character ever. So no, you do not instantly recognize Latin and identify that it's a specific term from the 1200s. No.
Giles was covered in piss most of the later seasons of Buffy. That was part of his arc.
Yeah, I remember.
It's faithful. Jeff says, you're not going to believe what this one means. He says, you're not going to believe this one, boys. It means Day of Wrath.
That means nothing. Plus, that's not even what it means. It's Latin for just fight a fucking Bigfoot. Trapper wrote it there on the rock in the 70s. It's his recipe for success.
Well, that's the thing, because like Willie says, man, that can't be good. But keep in mind, Trapper wrote this in 1971 at the age of like 23. Probably the name of his band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Metal was getting it to be like a thing. Trapper would have heard of it. Southern, maybe could have just been good old boy
A
Southern rock.
23-year-old dude carved something into a rock. It's not going to be a profound prophecy.
Yeah.
Because, by the way, they're treating Trapper like this holy figure who spoke in riddles. We met Trapper. We spent half a decade with him making up Bigfoot hunts on the fly. He was not a Yoda figure just giving them cryptic, clues that they could then they find out what it means later.
I think he was just banging a lady
operated.
named Desiree, and her parents didn't know how to spell.
Yeah,
That's
or
my
maybe just
theory.
he didn't. You're not going to believe this one, boys. It means my cock in Latin. You must have learned one thing in Latin. That's it. They found some words. Time to get the fuck out of here. We've done
Wild
our
Bill
one
does
thing
make
for
the
the
good
day.
point of why the hell someone would put that in a rock. And I thought that's, worth examining. But anyway.
Well, they don't answer it.
Yeah.
They came in here to set a burning meat trap and put out a fire, only to find they didn't need to put out the fire, and they found some graffiti.
They found some ancient graffiti.
Enough for a day. So the next day, they're interviewing a new witness. This guy's named Tony. And Tony is another perfectly normal guy in jeans and a nice coat and some cool sunglasses. And he meets them standing near nothing. Beside nothing. Just a dirt road in the forest.
That's okay. Now, see, here's the thing. This time they had him standing basically on the road so that they could just stop the golf cart, boom, start talking to him. They did not want to have to walk out to a field. They didn't want to have to do any of that. It's like, no, you just park yourself right there where your friend abandoned you, apparently, dropped you off and just sped off into the distance. Like, good luck.
I love that they're not costuming. They don't have wardrobe anymore. It's just,
no more bag of
you're out
hats.
there in jeans, and like it does not sell the idea, the like mythos of this world of that you have to like dress this certain way to exist out here. Like this guy just lives in the woods, and he's doing it in New Balance and jeans, man. You know,
It's that thing where they talk to that guy whose name I apologize that I can't remember, but the guy who built the skull wall. They had
Rob
all
Zombie.
of the costuming on him, and there was none left for anybody else. That's happened before. They've got like one guy who's got 55 different things to his look, and then the next guy is just out there in just a members only jacket and glasses, and that's it. It's just a guy.
You're right. They said take a costume from the prop bag. He put the whole prop bag on, and then they're like, okay, this time somebody's got to watch him because if he goes home, we are fucked.
And then he vanished for ZZ Top
But
cover
they
band.
do. We've been skipping some of the comedy bits they do because they do drag the entire show to a halt. So here they scripted out, I think, a thing where the guy, because when they pull up Willie, they've done a thing where Willie's standing up in the back of the golf cart for no reason. And the guy points out like, it's dangerous. And they do this whole, Buck has this whole script written out bit where he's like, well, see, Willie's agile like a cat. We learned by trial and error because Jeff tried to ride like that one time, and we had a pothole, and he fell off and broke his beard, fractured his spleen, and broke his pride. It was a mess. Only he didn't deliver it nearly as natural as I did. Like it almost I would say he did multiple attempts, and that was, but I know they don't do that in this show. But
I think he had a ratatouille that was making him talk by like pulling on his hair, and that's how he delivered those English words.
Smoke rat.
Smoke rat. That's what I'm talking about.
Smoke rat.
They just tasered him until those word-like sounds came out of him, is how he delivered those fucking lines.
I hate so much that he said he fell off and broke his beard. It's such a Mad Libs ass fucking punchline.
Yeah.
I see. I did not know the writer had quit at this point, so most of my notes were about like systematically a way to like find where this writer lives and like what we could maybe do to him. I've said I'm deleted that. I'm sorry for writing all of that down, but I'm gonna find where you live. I could. I could.
Yeah.
As long as you know that. So then it's enough laughter. It's time to get serious. Buck says, Tony, I tell you, we are balls deep in this investigation. I'm sorry. He says eyeballs deep in this investigation. I don't know how I got that confused. And they tell him about the coyote massacre, which Buck correctly describes as a pile of coyotes.
Yeah, it's only unit of measurement.
And he had to be right sooner or later. So Tony once again starts going, there's something about that land. You can't keep saying there's something about that land. This is
episode
the season's
7.
almost over.
This is episode 7 of this arc. We know there's something about we knew that from the opening scene of the second episode. After the first episode was about finding regular wolves. There's the second episode. They're like, hey, there's something else out here.
They're the one who told Tony about it. Tony, this place is crazy. He's like, yeah, listen, that place is crazy.
Yeah. This is 3 episodes from the Great Skull Wall, where they came to the border of the land to find it guarded by a giant totem that has been built by generations of hillbilly Templars who guard the world from the smoke wolves. You can't then go to a guy in a windbreaker named Tony who goes, there's just something weird about that place. Yeah, the Skull Wall, for one.
But now hold on, because he's going to up the stakes, and he's going to talk about how he had a little dog, a German Shepherd.
Great dog. Aggie.
Yeah.
Short for aggravation.
Although she wasn't aggravating. It was fucking stupid that we called her that. That's in his story. And he tells the long story about how he had a dog and was out hiking, and that dog disappeared. And then when he found that dog, he didn't find that dog.
That's right.
Just the dog is gone.
A pile of fur and the collar. A little patch of fur next to the collar.
He does imply that dogs are not only do they disappear when they go in here, but they're drawn to this place.
Yes.
This is the dog Bermuda Triangle.
Yes.
This is why you never see a dead dog. They come here.
But then they're like, hey, remember that dog we found? Which disproves this theory that like, okay, so this dog is fine. Remember we found that dog and it wasn't dead.
Okay, to be clear, Tony's story, this did not happen last week. This happened in 2002.
True. Right.
The dog would have been long dead by now if it survives this attack. This is a 20-year-old story. Again, 20 years ago. Keep in mind, last week they talked to a guy who was involved in, whose father was involved in a manhunt for a person who got eaten by the smoke wolves. So an episode later, after finding a pile of 25 and their lore dead coyotes, they're now talking to a witness who ups the stakes by saying, yeah, I had a pet dog 20 years ago that went missing and probably was killed by a smoke wolf. Although I don't know. I found its collar. It got killed by something.
Could have been raptured.
This fucking sucks. I can't believe they're doing this. Jeff tells him about the word they found, dies irae, and he says, Latin? Like the way it might be, like he's saying, like for queers, Latin?
Right.
Is that like he's personally offended? Like, why would I know what that means? What do you?
It's a private road. You can't speak Latin here, pal.
Yeah. What did you just say to me? And then Jeff translates and says, well, it means day of wrath. And he goes, oh, I know that. Day of Wrath.
Okay,
Of course.
This is some stupid, preposterous bullshit. Because he doesn't know what it means. But he does remember some guys from the 70s that he didn't know that we're talking about something about the Day of Wrath. So 50 years ago, this guy overheard a conversation about Day of Wrath, and he thinks they might have been talking about a cabin that wasn't named Day of Wrath. It's not the name of the cabin. It's just they were also talking about a cabin while they talked about Day of Wrath. So
50 years ago, he met some guys that may have mentioned the term Day of Wrath, not to him, not in a conversation
Right.
he was involved in. And he remembers that crystal clear.
crystal clear. Like
Crystal
it haunts
clear. He
him.
doesn't
It's been
know-
haunting him all these years.
And says, again, I feel like the listeners are getting frustrated because we're explaining it poorly. No, we're telling you word for word what
Yeah.
he said. That they tell him we found the word Day of Wrath carved into a rock. He's like, well, I think I remembered hearing some guys, some hunters using that phrase 50 years ago. And then I think it had something to do with the cabin. Buck says, quote, you think that's what they were calling the cabin? The Day of Wrath? And the guy says, oh, no.
No. He
No.
no-butts him.
Do you
Yeah,
have
he
it-
looks at him like that's a fucking stupid thing to
Why
say. 'cause
would you call
it
a
is.
cabin the Day of Wrath? Like that's what kind of a nerd would call his cabin
the
that? You
douchiest
get your
name for a
ass beat
cabin.
around here. Yeah.
Just cut to Buck all sad, being like, I thought Day of Wrath was a good name for a cabin.
We're calling it Butt Palace.
because Buck is trying to tie this together somehow, and I don't know what notes they gave this guy because Buck is not following the story, but they gave him the story. It's your story. So he's like, well, do you have any clue where this cabin's at? It's like, I don't know. I don't even know if it's still up there. It's 50 years ago. Why would it be? And then,
But you remember Day of Wrath.
but you remember Day of Wrath. And so then now that's like, okay, that's the end of that witness. So what did they learn? Well, they learned there's something up there and it's killing animals. It killed at least one dog, or
Killed
at
a
least
dog.
I didn't see it be killed by. The dog. I found its collar and some fur. In theory, it could have just gotten into a fight and may still be living out there happily. You know, it could be 55 years old by now. Who knows? And that's it. And it's
Did
like,
you say
okay,
55? 55 years ago, I heard some men say SummerSlam 84. And I knew they were going to a house. SummerSlam 84 was not the name of that house. Could have been a motorhome. It was to the
Good
left,
name
but
for a
up.
house.
Does that help your investigation, fellas?
So the only thing they've learned is that maybe there's a cabin involved in all of this. They do not know what's in the cabin, what the cabin has to do with anything, or how the cabin is connected to the smoke wolves, or if it even is. Only know that Trapper carved the term Day of Wrath into a rock. This guy thinks he heard some people say Day of Wrath in the same sentence they referenced the cabin. That's now what we know. The episode is like a third of the way over.
Yeah.
And then a Buck says to camera, it's like Trapper is playing Hansel and Gretel, dropping breadcrumbs for us to follow. Well, we're going to track him down and we're going to get that loaf of bread.
That's what you do. You
You can't have
reassemble the loaf of bread with the breadcrumbs.
Yeah. He can't have it. We can't let Trapper bring that bread into the afterlife. He'll carry that burden forever. We have to free the spirit bread from Trapper. This is what Methodists believe.
It's this is how Methodists uncover information, I guess. It's so frustrating because this is not any normal way to like feed or gain information. And they could just have this fucking guy say, yeah, my cows got slaughtered out by a cabin. It was a smoke
think
wolf.
Tony
It was the
fucked
size of
this
2
up.
shacks. Like, go back to the way they used to do things. I don't know.
I think Tony fucked this up. I think that's what happened. Because they go, okay, I guess that's enough. And they take off, and it's night. We do the night investigation. Got to wait until it's dark to sneak up on a cabin. Tony calls them again at the last minute. And we have
Yes.
to see that. And we have to see them say... And what he does is he said, well, I asked a buddy, and the buddy knew where to find that cabin. What you do is you go to the second creek. You go north to the second creek to find the cabin. You follow it. And that's the end of the story. The buddy's not like... That doesn't come back. They just forgot to relay this information. They realized they needed this information that was supposed to be in the story Tony told. Only Tony was like, "What? That's a fucking
Yeah.
Why would the cabin be called Day of Wrath?" And like, just so distracted by like the idea that you would name a cabin anything
the
at all
day they
that he was like,
Killed all the immigrants.
in that cabin, of course.
But no, because it's they cut to them preparing to go out on this hunt for this cabin, and they're talking. They vamp and improvise the stuff about, do we have enough bullets for this mission to hunt this cabin?
Yes.
Where we've not established what the danger of this cabin is, or who's in there, or what's in there. It's just, we got to find this cabin. And so they have Jeff get a phone call, and then he talks, yeah, okay. And then he says, I've got Tony here on the phone. And then Buck says, that's the guy we talked to today.
You can't get anything past Buck.
And then Jeff gives the directions. You got to go to a creek, and there's a second creek, follow it down over a hill, should lead us right to it. And then Buck says, I thought he said he didn't know where it was at.
Yeah, see?
And then Jeff says, yeah,
attack.
he didn't. He went and asked the guy.
Yeah.
That's
finally allowed
their
it.
plot point. That's their plot point in the show.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he just went and asked, because it's not a mysterious, it's not a cabin that only appears in a full moon. That's a magical place. It's like, nah, it's a cabin on, again, no man's land is less than 1 square mile. It is 500 acres. Everything, no location here is mysterious. It's all right there. You drive around long enough, you're going to find the cabin, even if you don't know where you're going.
Sure. They could have got to a creek and said, I bet they built along this creek bed so they'd have a source of water. And then they'd look like cool outdoorsmen or something. And then whoa, look, the cabin.
Yeah.
Or
but,
they could have been, here, I'm
done a lot of
going
things.
to stop and again, give another storytelling lesson.
Absolutely. Please,
You can
for the
cut
love of
this if
God.
it's
I'm
boring.
running out of notes.
I know that average people don't find this interesting. But here's when you're writing, all writing is just delivering information to the audience. You have, when you sit down, you got a story in mind. You have a list of things they need to know. They need to know what world it takes place in, when it takes place, what the main characters like, what they want. You've got a list of things in your mind, and then it's just a matter of in what order you give it to them. So one thing that makes stories boring is when somebody will just tell it to the audience, tell it to the narrator, to the protagonist. They just tell them what's going on. This is what people complain about, an info dump or an exposition dump, where they just rolled out all the stuff. One way you can always make that interesting is make it so that the protagonist has to fight for the information, where they're talking to somebody who doesn't want to tell them the information. Invent a reason. Then within that scene, you have a conflict where the reader thinks they're observing a fight. In reality, they're getting information. And so they had to trick the person into getting the information. They had to threaten them. They had to do whatever. But there's drama involved in how they got the information. That's one way to disguise the info dump. Another way is have it be a case where they have to uncover it. This is the scene you've seen in a million movies where they get into the desk and they unlock the drawer, and they're going through the files, and the door's right behind them, and somebody's going to walk past, and they've got to get the file out of there. And then, the security guard catches them, but they've already stuffed the file up under their jacket. When that story started, the thing in that file, the writer just knew that the viewer had to get that information somehow. So they added that little adventure with getting it out of the desk to make it interesting. So here, all you had to do was make it so that Tony didn't want to tell you where the cabin was. And so you add a little conflict, have him get mad about it. Back when they had a writer, you'll notice them doing this. Mm-hmm. A guy is hostile. A guy doesn't want to talk to them. A guy threatens them. They have to wrestle the information out of them. Once they've lost the writer, the only thing they know to do is have Jeff get a phone call. It's like, yeah, he didn't know, but his friend told him.
His friend told him.
You can cut all that. It's just, these are
There's an adventure
storytelling
in that.
tools of the trade that you learn in Storytelling 101 on your first day of class. All right.
If we cut that, this podcast will be 20 minutes long.
Yep, we need it.
We need it. We need
In
all
fact,
that we can get.
slow it down again.
Let's Bionic Man this shit. Just put it in slow motion, make some noises.
Cut to an ad break, cut back to recap me telling that story again.
Get some royalty-free music, pad it out with that.
Okay, so now that they got directions to the cabin, I just want to emphasize that. No particular reason. They have directions to this place now. They wander into the woods. They instantly find Demon Wolf sign and then hear branches snapping. I mean, it doesn't lead to like an exciting scene. I think it's just like a little aside to be like, all right, these smoke wolves, they're fucking everywhere. It's like
Sure.
2 steps off the road, just like Bigfoot. It's just it's rotten. It's rotten with
Rotten with
smoke wolves.
Yeah.
And Wild Bill describes the terrain they're crossing as, for a mountain goat, straight up and down, thicker than hair on a dog's back. And the cameraman like helpfully pans down to show you that terrain and that he's talking about. He is walking on perfectly flat ground. There is one gentle hill, and Jeff does fall down it. Jeff falls perfectly horizontal with no points of articulation, like a nutcracker.
It's incredible. He doesn't move an inch of his body, like he doesn't bend at the waist or catch himself with his arms. He's like, if you had a Ram Man toy, he just falls like a Ram Man, just a bowling pin of a man.
And
how did he get
also,
that horizontal without any reflex in his entire body, doing anything?
How much is Wild Bill's heart not in it when he describes the woods as being thicker than the hair on a dog's back? It's like, man,
Yeah,
2
that's
seasons
real
ago,
ordinary.
this would have been, it is thicker than Grandma's bush.
Yep.
On Sunday morning, he would have thrown something
Yep.
in there.
Yeah. Because that's
Looks
the day when
Grandma's
she
hair
doesn't
after she
comb
gets
it.
shocked on the old penis.
But I just like that the cameraman is now like, as if to call his bluff. As soon as he starts talking about terrain, it's like, all right,
Yeah.
here it is, man. You're walking on flat
Straight up and
terrain.
down, huh?
And to
There's,
get,
through these sparse leafless trees that are thicker than hair on a there are no leaves.
to give you an idea of how much they're trying to stretch for time in their penultimate episode called The Day of Wrath, they hit the first creek and they all celebrate like they've won the Super Bowl. Again, they're literally just following directions to a thing, like if somebody was trying to tell you where a cafe is in a city you've never been to before. And like, the first creek, ah! And then Wild Bill starts to call Buckaroo, but accidentally mispronounces it Buckaroar, and they stop. And the comedy music kicks in, and they do a long bit about the fact that he mispronounced Buckaroo, and they do an interview to camera about it. Like,
Yeah.
they're just stretching, like they're so scared they didn't film enough stuff.
Yeah, they know.
because they didn't.
I wrote down all the nicknames. You want to hear the
Oh,
nicknames?
God damn it.
I mean, why would we spare our listeners this?
Sure. Yeah. And,
There's Buckaroo,
uh-huh.
Buckasaurus,
Sure.
Buckasaurus Rex.
Yeah,
I
as
guess
a
you
viewer
gotta
of
have a lot
as a viewer of this show, I've heard that a lot, of course.
I like their variants on Buckasaurus. Buckinator, Buck Hockey, of course. Bugle Boy Buck.
Yeah.
I may have made up one of those, but you can't guess which one.
Yeah, no one would.
And then he ends the segment by going, Buck Chop? like pork chop?
Yeah, that one's mean.
And then he leaves a nice big silence and then goes, Big Buck.
Better than
End
Buck
of
Chop.
sentence. Big Buck.
No way he thought that was going to be left in the final cut of the
Yeah,
episode.
he
You
couldn't
could
have
tell
imagined.
he didn't think like this is nothing. You could tell that he like, I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah. That ended with him cracking up and being like, all right. You'll find a spot. You'll find a spot to go out on that. And they did not. So they continue on for a bit and they find the second crick. And Buck very flatly says, here it is. To which Wild Bill says, hell yeah, good job, Buckaroony. Does he think Buck is sad? Is Buck sad, maybe? It's like, they're acting like
That
Buck
could be.
needs these wins,
Yeah.
like finding the creek. This is why I wanted to reiterate, they had directions. So they've just successfully followed directions up to a certain point and are celebrating that they did not fuck that up.
And not directions to through a cave to find where an artifact is located. It's directions to a residence. It's a because they're going to arrive at it and they're going to say, "Oh, it's got lights on." Yeah, this place has mail gets delivered here. It has a power bill. So, like,
now you're skipping over the crick.
I apologize. You're right. You're right. No, hey, let's go through it all.
Sure.
The second crick. All right, they explain. This one is bigger and more dangerous than the first crick, and then the cameraman pans down to show you that it's literally 18 inches wide. By, I want to say, 3 inches deep. It does not come up. It doesn't cover their boots. They walk into it. They just step in it.
Yeah,
I don't
doesn't
know.
cover their
I
boots.
would have called it a creek. I don't think I would have identified that as the landmark we were supposed to find.
Now, we are mocking it, but 2 of them nearly die crossing it.
it's true.
By the way, listeners, there's only 15 minutes left in this episode. I know you're saying, wow, you guys are really drawing this all out. No, we're not. It's almost over. This episode called The Day of Wrath, and I know what you're saying, but the Day of Wrath event is still going to occur. The episode is surely not just called The Day of Wrath because that's something they found carved into a rock. A thing is going to happen that could live up to where people would call it the Day of Wrath as foretold by prophecy.
They do. They find the cabin. Which they react to like they found an ancient city in Lord of the Rings, like jaws drop, majestic lights on their faces. Buck says, I never thought we would find it. You had directions. You didn't think you were going to find it? You had that little faith in yourself? Somebody gave you explicit directions to a small patch of woods?
Plumbers came out here to install a toilet, Buck. People found it. People could just come here. It's probably on Airbnb.
I thought I was going to die out here. They gave me directions to a cabin, and I was like, that's it for me. I'm going to do my best. But, like, wrote a will, called my wife. It's been 15 minutes. You crossed 2 puddles, and you got directions. There's a light on in there, and they're like, my God, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen. I don't know why. Wild Bill says, hold up. Is that smoke coming out of the damn chimbley?
I could not believe they didn't stop the episode to acknowledge that.
To do 20 minutes on Chimbley.
On
they
him, because Wild Bill is having a bad diction evening. He's struggling to get words out, and then when he's asked to actually say something, seems to have trouble getting through it. I'm not going to speculate on his condition.
Could be anything.
I think he's sad. I think they're all just very sad. I diagnose them with clinical sadness.
Yeah, because and then somebody's like, where there's smoke, there's fire. they spend several minutes it's different ways of saying, yeah, somebody's home. Somebody's here.
There's a human in that
wait
human
a
box.
second. We talked to the guy who owned this land. Again, no man's land is, he said, I own 1,200 acres and there's 500 acres I don't go on. I call it no man's land because it's got wolves or something. So they've arrived in this patch of no man's land, found, oh no, there's a cabin with electricity and a vehicle parked here and there's somebody living here. We need to tell this guy one of 2 things. One, you've got a squatter living on. Did you not notice on your power bill that you've got a building out in no man's land? Did you think the smoke wolves were watching TV out here?
I don't go out. I don't question the cable bill.
Or call the guy and say, hey, why did you lie to us and say that this is like a desolate hellscape? There's somebody out here living in a residence. He's like in there playing a PS5. Like what's...
He's got a driveway. There can't be a driveway in Mordor. Like,
there's
We
a
don't
mailbox.
know yet that it's not a smoke wolf in there playing PS5. It could still be a smoke wolf.
So Huckleberry asks, now that they've determined there's somebody living in this perfectly serviceable cabin, Huckleberry asks, does anyone else have goosebumps? Somebody's in a cabin that you got directions to.
That's right.
It's on the power grid, man. Come on.
Their response is not, well, let's go knock on the door and see if this guy knows. Does he know Dave or Travis or whatever? Like let's see what this guy knows. No, they're like, okay, we've got to fan out because there's somebody. Like we've got to come up close. We got to get up. We got to go. Cover the windows. They act like they're going to assault this cabin, but again, all they needed to do. I know that it's obnoxious that I'm acting like the world's greatest storyteller. I'm just a man. But all they needed to do was have their last witness say, there's a cabin up there that they told us, don't ever approach it.
Right.
Because whoever's there, like they told us, it's somebody, something, like it's whoever is crazy enough to be out of no man's land. They told us if you go on that property, you don't come back. Something, because their reaction here is otherwise insane.
They are just armed intruders.
You're right, they could knock on the door and just say, hey, is your name Day of Wrath? And he would be like, that's a funny misunderstanding. It's Dave of Wrath.
Of course.
God,
I haven't heard
here
Day
with
of
my
Wrath
wife
since
and
the
two
70s.
children.
When
And
two
if the
men
guy-
walked by me.
I rescue dogs. So many come here.
They're all in here with me. They're all
Yeah,
laying
all of
down
them.
watching TV with me.
I've got a TikTok account where I just go through all the dogs that I rescue.
But also, imagine if they had gone up to the door and talked to the guy, and then he asked them why they were there. And their explanation is, well, so we talked to a guy who doesn't live here, but he remembered that half a century ago, he met some hunters who said the phrase Day of Wrath, and they thought there was a cabin here, and that had...
It's on a rock. Our friend wrote it.
A friend wrote
in
Day of
1971.
Wrath on a rock, and we talked to a guy who thought he heard somebody say that, and then also in either the following sentence or perhaps in the same sentence referenced, also there's a cabin here, so we're here.
Let me start over. We killed 25 coyotes.
Indirectly, it was our actions that caused their deaths, but we did not personally kill them.
Now this isn't related to anything, but how cool of a name for a cabin do you think Day of Wrath is? Just taking a poll.
I don't know. We got the signs made for Butt Palace.
So they sneak up on this cabin. They've got their guns drawn. They're ready to murder a man for the crime of being inside a cabin. They find a bunch of blood leading straight towards the hunting cabin.
How
And
does
then,
Buck describe what amount of blood is out there, according to Buck?
I believe he measures it in millipiles.
It adds up to one pile of blood. Yes.
One pile
one
of blood.
It's fresh, yeah.
Leading towards the hunting cabin, and then they see a bloody hatchet. And that's a little moment, a little scene that they've created.
Yeah.
And they're like, you see a bloody hatchet, and you can linger on it and, like, ponder the mysterious implications of what just happened here. Buck immediately says, oh, there's the lock. He must have used the hatchet to bust open the lock. Just murders that moment.
Yeah.
In cold fucking blood with a hatchet. Just takes that moment out and kills it. So they decide to sneak around to a window and eavesdrop on a guy in a cabin on a cell phone. So cell phones work out here in the land beyond fucking terror.
This is every kind of storytelling. We start with environmental storytelling, and then I guess, what do you call it? Deductive storytelling, where one character is speculating what happened, and then they just overhear a conversation of a guy plainly laying out what happened. Like, hi, I am the illegal logger. Arg, I was attacked by a smoke wolf. Ah.
I will say this. Even in the last couple of books, even J.K. Rowling did this in the Harry Potter novels, right? Because there's no scenes where, like, Harry Potter's not in the scene, like it's close, whatever, third person. So for him to hear plot points, they'll have him walking down a hallway and he overhears a voice, and it's Snape and somebody conspiring, and so he listens in, and he happens to be walking by at the exact moment they're stating their evil plan. It's the laziest form of storytelling, because obviously what are the odds that you're going to be listening at the exact right moment to hear the guy? And here this guy says, I came out on a logging job. It was white oak and cedar. I got attacked from behind, hurt bad. I got claw marks on my arm. Spells out exactly why there's blood, who he is, why he's out there, and they just happen to hear that on the phone as they go up to listen.
It's amazing. It's the dumbest fucking show.
They decide to go knock on the door and say, like, logging thief or not, be damned, we got to help this guy if he's hurt.
Help him.
They decide to knock on the door to see if he'll talk to them. But what they do is Buck walks up and he knocks slowly 3 times and then says nothing. And that's the creepiest. They were acting like coming up on a cabin with a guy inside was creepy. I'll tell you what the creepy thing is being where you think the remote woods is, and then somebody knocks 3 times on your door and doesn't say anything. Like, if you want to help them, you call out, hey, does anyone need help in there? I see a lot of blood out here. And this whole situation is diffused.
And prior to that, he tells Huckleberry, cover me. I'm going to go knock on the door. So he's knocking on a door, and right behind him is a 6'9" bearded mountain man with an AR-15 pointed at the door.
Yeah.
Because in this universe, cover me means you point your gun at me, so if someone attacks me, you shoot them off me.
Shoot me. Yeah, I don't want to
That
die.
guy just opens the door, there's a bang, and
Deny
Buck's
them
guts
the
are all
kill.
over his face. He's like, fucking, what the fuck is that? What the fuck just happened? All right, so this is also a show. Keep in mind, like, there's an implied camera crew here. So you're out in the cabin in the middle of the woods, and in the middle of the night, there's 3 knocks and dead silence. You peek out a curtain, and you see like 5 hillbillies with shotguns and a full camera crew. Like, the only thing you can think is like we're doing Hillbilly Running Man, and there's 3 dynamos. Like,
Right.
like,
Hey, get this. In a moment, they're going to have a moment where they're going to show the crew, the filming crew. It's 5 guys. You've got an audio engineer. You've got a boom mic operator. You've got like 2 different camera guys. It's 5 people following them around in addition to the 5 of them.
a mob of 10 fucking people at your cabin in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And they're like, he runs out the back door. They hear a click and say, he's running out the back door. And Wild Bill yells after him, we're trying to help you, stupid. Like, I can't. If you had stayed there and you told anybody the story of how you died, just like as a ghost, you're like, well, 10 hillbillies showed up with guns in the middle of the night and a camera crew. And I just decided to open the door and be like, whoa, how can I help you boys? No, dude. You run from that.
That's where God says you're not allowed into heaven because you're too dumb.
Too dumb.
Like, no, you go
I gave you the precious gift of life. You threw it away.
Squandered it. You made a mockery of it.
Yeah, you like. Look, I'm God. I put the movie Surviving the Game on Earth so that you would know what to do.
I knew
this
God made
happens.
that. That movie's
Gave
great.
you like 9 different remakes of it.
Yeah, they just keep making that movie because you have no excuse for not having seen that movie now. So he does. He takes off running wisely, and then they hear gunfire and screaming, and Buck points out something that I should be amazed that he has this sort of self-awareness. He says, "Listen, we're a big target out here. If he was shooting at us, we'd have heard it. Like, he would have killed a few of us. There's 10 of us all gathered together, lit up like fucking Christmas in the woods. So he's not shooting at them. And they spot lights in the distance. They spot the lights of a car. And the car is picking up the logger and then taking off. And they're still, Buck says these exact words, well, I don't understand that. We was trying to help him.
He does run after him with a gun, screaming, dude, we're trying to help you. But while he's receiving help from the maniacs without guns, presumably.
Yeah,
his
the people
friends.
he knows.
Yeah.
What's so insane? What's so scary about 5 disgusting hillbillies showing up with a camera crew in the middle of the night to your house? Why would you think that's impure somehow?
Ditch your friends and come with us.
We're cool. They move in to check out the place where the logger got picked up. There's like an old logging truck here, and they pause to marvel at all the blood on it, like it's fresh human sign. My God, look at you knew he was bleeding. Who gives a shit?
Right.
They even go so far as to like start collecting his shell casings, like they're gun droppings, like they're tracking his gun.
Yeah. Like they're recreating
and
the story
they're
they were there for.
They're 9mm, they're pistol shell casings. So it's whatever. And this is going to be important because they're going to deduce that he got ambushed by a smoke wolf and fired 3 bullets from a Glock or whatever. And that was it. So actually, not that dangerous of a threat if you're armed, it turns out.
Take out with a handgun. I did like how they pieced together that he was shooting at a smoke wolf because, yeah, they heard it. They heard the screaming of the smoke wolf. They heard the gunshots. It's just they're 8 steps behind in a story they're making up. Like, they keep turning the camera and being like, that thing that's been happening for fucking 3 episodes now? I think it might be the thing that's happening. Yes!
But they've got to, that guy takes off because obviously, like you said, his friend came and got him in a vehicle or probably a golf cart or whatever. But now they have arrived at the Day of Wrath cabin with, there's like 7 minutes left in the episode. They're here, the thing they've been spending the entire episode trying to find. They've arrived at it. There was the distraction with the guy who happened to be there, but he didn't live there. It turned out he just taken refuge there. So now, finally, we've at the cabin. We're here, the Day of Wrath. The trapper carved it into a rock to direct us here. Time to get the hell out of here.
Gotta get the fuck out of here, man.
We did what we came to do, which was nothing. And I am telling you right now, I think this podcast and everything that has happened for the last few days, this is a dying hallucination that I am having because I had a stroke.
Yep, you're drowning.
When this happened, when they just left and in their improv, they're like, yeah, we did what we came to do. We came here, knocked on the door, a guy ran away.
They don't even look inside the cabin. They never look inside the cabin.
They don't glance inside the cabin. They don't look around the exterior of the cabin. They leave. They leave. They never went inside of it. Listeners, do you understand? They never went inside of it. Listeners, do you understand? They're never going to go inside of it. They're never coming back here. Ever. I checked. This is the end of the Day of Wrath story arc. The whole thing, the message carved into the rock, this is what it came to. Nothing. This isn't happening. I'm dead on the floor. My wife is calling 911. This is all a hallucination I'm having in the seconds after my brain exploded.
What a ripoff that this is your dying forever dream. Some people get to see like all their loved ones. You did some fucked up shit in your life to deserve this. Your brain to turn on you like this. I wish somebody would make like a Mountain Monsters video game. I want them to make like an XCOM style video game where like it unfolds, the teams all come up and they set up on the battlefield, and then it's your turn. And you get one action point, and once you use it, the round is over. It's just all ends. Like you get to take one action, and then it's just done.
Look at rock. Mission complete.
Look at rock. And then all the bad guys standing around there are like ready to fight, and then it just ends. Like, well,
okay.
Successful episode. You took your movement turn. You don't get an investigation turn.
I might be as pissed off as Jason is about this next part, where they do the black text of like, oh, something serious happened. So Colt gets an emergency call from Buck. Like, you got to get the fuck out here. It's 2:47 a.m. And so they're like, a hurricane came through. We were trying to sleep in our little makeshift camp that Willie built us. And something is just tearing down trees. But we saw the timestamp when they got to the cabin. It was 2:12 a.m. And then they met the guy and chased the guy. And he got picked up by a car and they drove back home. That means like it took them like negative 90 minutes to like go to bed and get attacked by whatever this is. And obviously the show is bad at lying, but I don't know if they've ever like been so blatant about it, I guess. Like they've never like put it down in numbers of like, this is how bad we are at lying, that we fucking fucked up the times.
Okay. The guy in charge of typing out that Chiron text with the timestamps, he's just picking random numbers because when it comes up and it says 2:47 a.m. is the time, because I wrote this down, the production team receives an urgent call from Buck, and they show Colt Straub and the team they're waking up, they're putting their stuff on. It's like, this is urgent. They are being attacked by something came through like a hurricane. Then they take off. Text on screen, 4:41 a.m. and they pull up to Buck. It took them 2 hours? Did you stop and you have breakfast?
All right, there's a couple things to analyze here. One, then when they get the call, they are also camped out in the woods. Why are they camped out 2 hours away from
Well,
the
it might
rest
be
of
really
the
close.
team?
They just had breakfast. Jason could be right. They went to the Waffle
Why
House.
are they camped out in a separate place at all? If you're going to stay in the woods, it should be one camp. Are you not allowed to stay with the talent? Two, I love that it's implied the entire team and nothing but the Ames team are all sleeping in Willie's horrible, shitty little lean-to. They're all just like stacked, like cartoon dwarves inside this little tent with their feet sticking out. Tent is generous. Inside this stick lean-to with their feet sticking out. And three, they scramble out there. So the production team arrives. What they do is they see lights. They say, that must be them. That must be them. And then as soon as they pull up to Buck and Bill, I think, they start screaming, kill all your lights now. They don't turn off their headlights.
Right.
They still have all the lights on. But then they explain, like, they heard this whirlwind and everything, and, like, it was so sudden that they pause and they explain this. They call all of these things out. They say, we came out in such disarray. Wild Bill is out here with no pants, still in his boots. Jeff has gone cool Jeff mode with his flowing hair and beard unrestrained. Willie is in his long johns with his hair disheveled. Buck says, somehow I wound up with Huckleberry's hat. What were you guys doing? Because it's not a normal thing that you scramble.
Yeah.
You scramble and you end up in each other's clothes.
Yeah.
Like,
I think the hat is something you can undo. You can't, like, make pants. Like, if the pants are back there, the pants are gone. But you could give Huckleberry his hat back.
yeah, there's a reason why you're all in each other's clothes. And I don't want to put anything in the sexual innuendo jar, but I guess I have to. I guess that's fair. So they come across an uprooted tree. They hear some more noises, and they decide this tree, it wasn't cut. It was knocked over. Something the size of an elephant came through here and pushed these trees over. So, like, right away, my Clifford the Giant Dog theory back on the table. Here. But then Buck thinks to do something he hasn't done in a long time. He says, I'm going to give it a little knock. And he bashes the tree with a stick, which explodes, and he wasn't expecting that.
But doesn't make a comedy bit out of it because he doesn't want to ruin the tension.
And then he says, listen. And nothing happens. So he does it again, and then he says, listen. And they get an answering knock. And Buck says, boys, we got a Bigfoot, and raging guitars kick in. And Huckleberry says, yes, we do, and raging guitars kick in. And Jeff just says, damn, and raging guitars kick in. And then Wild Bill says, Sasquatch. Dead silence.
Just
no guitars for you. No guitars for your Sasquatch.
also, he doesn't have his pants on. He's doing like a heroic explorer pose with his like dick basket out.
Very clear bulge outline as he shouts the word Sasquatch. A screen grab that you would not get from many other shows.
Yep.
And that's somehow it. That was a fully funded and broadcast hour of television.
But think about, okay, so the next episode, the season finale, is a double episode. It's a 90-minute, whatever two of these put together is. So we'll get 2 podcast episodes out of it probably, because just imagine, think about the ground they have to cover in that double episode. We still don't know what the smoke wolves are or where they came from or what's their nature. We don't know that mysterious red jewel in the skull. We still don't have the answer to what that does. We still don't know what the Day of Wrath is or when it is. We still don't know how the Day of Wrath ties into that mysterious cabin or what's in the mysterious cabin or what's around the mysterious cabin or anything about the mysterious cabin because they didn't glance at it when they were there. We don't know how the hostile tree poachers tie into this. And then now we've got a Bigfoot that we've got to resolve. Now, I will say, without spoiling anything, that this next episode, the finale, they filmed it in March of 2020. So it turns out, I'm going to spoil something a little bit. This won't spoil what happens. It's going to spoil something, which is that they're going to have to take 6 months off shooting because of the pandemic lockdowns. So the resumption of all the stuff we just saw, they're going to take most of a year off and then have to pick up. So the question all of you should be wondering is, will they remember all of that stuff I just said? or for the season finale of the story arc, will they come back out into the woods visibly older, having explained, like the governor, like the lockdown, they explained it. The governor shut down filming. We had to all go home. And will they come out having completely forgotten what they were doing and just improvise a completely unrelated storyline that ignores all of that stuff?
That'd be crazy.
I bet they won't do that. I bet my life savings they won't do that. Put that up on Polymarket. I'll put it all down.
Only one way to find out. Stay tuned. We don't know.
God, there's never been anything like this on television. There never will be again, because television doesn't really exist anymore. But my God, they invented some new ways to fail. Just true innovators in the fail space.
It came around at the only time it could have come around. And I don't know if we've been recording long enough. You can cut all of this if it's not interesting. But we've talked about this before. This is a show that only could have existed at the tail end of the cable era. When cable was still ubiquitous, it was still how everybody was making their money in broadcasting. There were too many cable channels. It was that era when if you wanted cable, you had to pay $300 and you got you'd be flipping to the end of it and you'd be like, I've got something called the gardening channel. Am I paying for that? And so that was the financial model. And this wasn't around the era when they had all of these fake reality shows because they were zero budget. And there were these gold rush shows. There was the fishing shows, the crab catching shows. And they started to do fake ones. They had these bootlegger shows and like the Amish mafia shows. It was in this tail end of the era when they still needed to fill 24-hour cable channels, but they no longer had budgets to give out. So a show that could be shot for nothing could get a TV deal to be broadcast on a real network in this narrow window of time. And then we watched this next season I'm not saying they caused the end of that era, but this is when the cord cutting began, and that was the end of Mountain Monsters. This show could not have existed in 1985. It could not have existed. You could not pitch it and get it approved today. It was a moment in time, and they invented a new form of storytelling that no one had attempted before or since.
And invented every single way there was to fail at that.
That's
to be clear, there's a reason no one else did it, and there's a reason no one has done it since.
Yeah, mistakes.
I'm not saying it worked.
Consider.
Yeah, this is the high water mark of television hubris. Sure. We were all rolled back, baby. We're watching it. So it's time to pick our favorite quotes if we have them. Jason, how about you?
When the wounded logger guy took off and they examined the logging truck and saw how the whole side of it was covered in blood, because they did that thing where they spread around too much fake blood.
Way too much.
They had like 4 gallons of blood he left behind. But they wanted to show how crazy it was. So they flashed the light on side of it. And then Jeff says, man, he was squirting. A thing you would say about a man who may be dead by now, like the amount of blood he lost, like he probably is not going to make it to the hospital. Man, he was squirting.
All right, I'll go next. I don't remember the context for this, but it's also from Jeff. And Jeff says, man, he was squirting.
Well, I'm glad I picked a different one because there was one where there's all this blood on the truck, and then Jeff goes, man, he was squirting.
Follow up, at one point Buck says, Bill's going to have to put his pants on. Later.
Wink.
And also my backup quote is at one point Huckleberry, after they discover something or other, and one of the points when they decide that to leave, Huckleberry phrases it as, "Guys, I think we need to sit down and rethink some things." And like, are you sure you want to go down that path?
There's no one thinking.
Are
There's
you
no
sure
one
you
thinking
want
them.
to examine what you've done with your life? Are you sure you're going to come back from that?
Huckleberry, there's bliss to an unexamined life. Huckleberry, don't examine the life.
Are you sure you don't want to play Predator instead?
He's already putting mud on. Already slathering the mud.
Way ahead of you.
Because you have to be a Bigfoot teacher.